Oh, let's plug in our mic. I'm here, guys. Give me one sec. Thought I was more ready than I was. There we go. How's that working? Volume wise. Oh, I was just outside having a beverage with my boys. And I'll better put the shades down here. Let's see where I am. Let's reboot. See if that'll help. Come on now. My ongoing, where the frig am I? Right, see all. Do. There I am. Cool. Coolio. Okay. Let's make some bulgogi beef salad. Hey, anybody notice that I tweaked my lighting a little bit for today? Oh, now I can take my glasses off. I'm going to go blind. So I'm just going to wash my hands here real quick while we're getting ready to roll. There we go. Lovely. Yeah, so I tweaked the lighting a little bit. I got some of my shop lights down here, up here. My shop is downstairs. This is upstairs. So hopefully that'll help show a little bit more of what I'm doing in the far reaches of my kitchen, far reaches of my 10 by 10 kitchen tops. You guys only see about 8 feet of it, not even 6 feet of it. But yeah, hopefully that helps out. Everybody can hear me? Cheyenne's there, Tristan's there, perfect. I got volume. Check. Okay, cool. Let's give another minute or so here. Hands are washed. We're ready to roll. Oh, that's what else I was going to do. Hang on one second. Just got to go into the fridge for a second. That's what I'm going to do. Pull that guy. Go into here. Without interfering with my new lighting situation. And grab one of these guys. Lovely. Okay. I'm going to add that into the queue. I've got my stove full of me's. Lots of moving parts. Not a tough item to do. Fairly, actually, honestly, pretty economical. Looks like there's a lot of here, but it's not terrible. And it's good summertime. As soon as we get summertime, it's a good summertime one. So let's get going. I'm going to take a pull of my beverage. I'm going to take my glasses off my head. And let's do it. Let's go through the me's. So for the salad wise, let's start here. I just got some green leaf. It's all clean, washed, ready to go. I've got a carrot. Actually, salad, no carrot in the salad. The carrot's going in the kimchi. So salad-wise, just my green leaves. We'll do some radish. And honestly, that's about it after we build the dressing. Oh, and some bean sprouts. Some fresh bean sprouts. Lovely, nice, fresh bean sprouts. And that's going to be our salad component. The protein, I got a beautiful chunk of flank steak. Which totally lends itself to it. We're going to give that a quick marinade. And then sear it off. And then we'll slice it on a bias and present it on our salad. So let's do, I'm going to put that guy back over there. Kimchi component. We're going to rinse the German out of the sauerkraut. We're going to use that. Sauerkraut's fermented cabbage. So we're going to use that as our base for doing a real quick kimchi. And the longer that kimchi marries together and gets going, the better off it's going to be. So today, it's not going to be great, but it's okay because this food's going to my parents anyway. But in a couple days, it's going to be outstanding. This is the version I used at the bistro when I do it like a bulgogi. I would just make. I wouldn't go through the months of preparation to do a full-on proper kimchi with Napa cabbage. I would start with sauerkraut and I'd build it from there. So for the kimchi, we're going to use the radish, the carrot. What else? We're going to use some sambal. Sorry, I'll get my arm out of the way. Some sambal. Some sesame oil. And some ginger and some garlic. And a couple other ancillary items that I'm sure oh, and sesame seed. Sorry, I got my meat is all jammed on it like friggin' 2x2. So, so that's there. The marinade, I'm gonna pull my. I'm trying to keep my stuff organized as far as what I am going to be using with what item that we're gonna hammer together. So I'm just gonna pull this stuff out. I'm actually gonna move this right out of here. Out of frame behind me. I'm gonna bring out this component. So where am I? Let's go marinate for the beef, for the bulgogi. Hoisin paste. Not a deal breaker if you don't have it, but it's readily available. Samjang, which is a fermented bean paste. A little bit of sesame oil in there. Some light soy. Little bit of seasoned vinegar. We're going to use some more ginger in there. Bit of cane sugar, not a ton. Some dried chili. And who remembers the poaching liquid from the Rushdie and poached pear? This is, I kept all that stuff. It stays in a container, easy peasy. It's a good standby. You never know when you're going to need it. If you need some syrup or whatever. So this is basically syrup by now. So I'm going to use a little bit of that in the marinade as well. And then for our dressing, a lot of that stuff is going to be used over and again for the dressing. So we're going to take these two guys out of the equation. Dressing wise, our soy, some rice wine vinegar, sesame oil again, a poached pear, or just use a canned pear or use a fresh Chinese apple, whatever you want to use. Bit of green onion. And that's about it. And we'll build and some olive oil. I know olive oil is terribly Korean, but we're going to use that to make our salad dressing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with doing the marinade for the beef in the blender. So I'm going to take my hoisin. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of hoisin. I don't have a ton of beef there, so I don't need a lot of marinade, right? So I'm going to kind of use... I'll try and break it down into parts, but you'll get the idea for it. You can see how much beef I have there. So, and then I'm going to take my samjang, my bean paste. I'm going to put a teaspoon of that into there. I'm going to take my sambal. I'm going to put a teaspoon of that into there. Everybody starting to get the idea? I'm going to take some soy. This is going to be more than a teaspoon. I'm going to do like a 1/4 cup of soy into there. I'm going to move this stuff off and then start pulling it back as I'm doing it. So I remember where I am. A little bit of sesame oil. Chili I'm going to add later. I'm going to put a couple tablespoons of the pear poaching liquid. The pear jus, per se. I'm going to grab a knife. I'm going to buck up some ginger. You can go fairly heavy on the ginger. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be used all over the place in here, so if you're not a fan of ginger, probably not the dish for you. It's going to give that a coarse chop, and then that's going to go into there as well. And basically, that's all there is to it. Oh, let's put a little acid. It's going to need some acid. A little bit of rice wine vinegar. I'm going to do a teaspoon. I want it fairly heavy on the sugar side of thing. Oh yeah, speaking of sugar, cane sugar. I'm going to put a good solid pinch of cane sugar. We've got that potion liquid into there, that syrup into there, the pear syrup. So we don't need a ton of sugar added. Not like going from a full-on scratched marinade. So let's give that a pulse. We'll beat that stuff up. And then I'm going to fire all that stuff into a little Ziploc. My steak's going to go into there. Ziplocs are great ways of marinating items because there's no airspace in there at all. You don't have to worry about it floating up or anything. And then I'm going to pour my marinade into it. I'm just going to do it over the sink in case things go terribly sideways. Okay. So that's that. And I'm going to buck up the whites off my green onions. Let's get rid of that guy now. Let's get rid of this guy for a sec. Okay, I'm going to take the beards off. And then I'm going to use the white for the onion. The white from the onion. I'm going to go right up to those greens there. That's about it. I don't know. What do we got? Probably a tablespoon of finely sliced green onion. And then that's going to go into here. And then the longer, obviously, the better. I don't think I'd go over an hour, hour and a half on this stuff. You don't want it to get too... Because it's going to be fairly... The salt component, notice I didn't add any salt. The salt is from the soy sauce. Which is why I wanted to use the light soy sauce and not the... Why am I danking around with my fingers picking up those little onions? The light soy sauce, I don't want it like loaded with sodium. Hence the light. Okay? So there is our flank steak marinating. Through the magic of television. Here is a flank steak that's been marinated for an hour. Don't worry about the color. The color is different in that one just because there's air involved, okay? Just from the blending process. Oh, I'm making a frickin' mess here. Give me one shuck. That's why I got the little blood trough there. Okay, so I'm going to take this out of the marinade. I'm going to take those pieces of ginger off. And I'm going to start letting that guy rest. Hand towel done. I'm going to put this just out of frame. You won't be able to see that, but it's there. Trust me, I won't forget about it. Just going to wipe this board down a little bit. And I'm going to slide another board on top of there because I don't want to use that liquid. I don't want that liquid cross-contaminating what I'm going to be doing next. So let's put another board on top of that guy. And then we're all safe again. And then that's going to slide around a little bit on me. I'm killing minutes just friggin' doing stupid shit. Okay, so I'm going to move this over here. There we go. That'll help. Okay, I'm going to turn my pan on for my beef. Going medium-high on that. Actually, pretty high on that one. I want it to get caught up. And then let's get going on our kimchi. Not too worried about the salad stuff. It's gonna take no time at all. But the kimchi, I've got a little colander set up in the sink right now. So I'm gonna take my sauerkraut. I'm gonna drain the German right out of it, and I'm gonna give it a rinse. I don't want that winey, cabbagey flavor into it. I still want a bit of cabbage, but not like full-on German sauerkraut, okay? So that's, what's that, a half-liter jar or 1 liter jar? That's 1 liter. Okay, so everything's going to be based off of that 1 liter measurement. Going to get some cold water running over it. Once I get a bit of a good rinse going on it, I'll slow that water down to a trickle. I just want to leach that brine out of it. There we go. Hopefully that doesn't interfere with the volume side of things. Okay, pan's going. Let's get the rest of our kimchi stuff going. So I'm going to come back to my carrot and my radish. I'm going to pull 3 radishes off that bunch. My green onion. Got a box grater sitting over here. My carrot's already peeled. Actually, I'm going to move these guys. Look at that. It's like it was made for it. So they don't all roll around. I'm going to buck off the ends because that was the part that I didn't do when I was peeling it. Now I'm just going to hit the box grater on this stuff. I always start, when I grate stuff, I always start with the fat end. It's just a function of efficiency. Because by the time you get down to the other end, whatever you're holding on to, there's absolutely less product there. So that's kind of my slant on it. Okay, so there's some grated carrot. That goes in there. I'm going to do a slightly finer. Yeah, let's do that side. My radish. Flat of my palm. Maybe. Oh, you bugger. There we go. I had the palm, my palm was wet, so it just kept sliding around. That feels so good on the hands. Okay, so that's done. See how we're building stuff up here? Everything's on top of each other. What else do we need to put into there for the kimchi? Let's do some green onion. I'm going to use the green parts of the green onion. I'm going to go nice and fine on it. Okay, that's all built up. I'm still going to want to use that down the road. Ginger. My pan's getting nice and hot. I'm going to introduce that steak here real quick while we're dinking around with this other stuff. Ginger, I'm going to use that same size as I used for the radish. I don't peel my ginger when I'm grating it. No point. Oh yeah, lots of ginger. I'm going to use the best chunk of that in there. Okay, and then we got a bit of garlic. Garlic I'm going to actually chop by hand. Just going to park that there. Going to clean this off, get rid of that. We'll get our steak in there going. Yeah, I've got a nice smoking hot pan. I've got some oil. I've got my steak. No need to season it. All that goodness is already on there. Presentation side down first. Gonna do a little hood action. And then let's buck up some garlic here too. Gonna give that a nice fine chop. Lots of moving parts here again today, but it's not a big deal. We're still going to do it in a half an hour. Plus your marinade time, of course. That steak smells wicked. That's the sugar in there. You want a nice good caramelization on that sear. So that's why the marinade is fairly heavy in sugar, pretty light in acid. You're almost macerating that steak instead of full marinade. Orange. Oh yeah, see, look at that. Isn't that a boner? Okay, so there's the other side down. I'm going to turn it down. I don't have my oven on here, so I'm going to let it just cook and rest in that pan until we need it at the end. Okay, so Germany is rinsed out of my sauerkraut. Okay, so there's my sauerkraut. I'm going to put that into that bowl. And all this other lovely stuff. Yeah, you sit. It's going to go into here as well. And then, my hands are a bit rinse here. Give my stove / workstation a quick wipe. Then I'm going to put sambal into here. I like kimchi. If it ain't hot, there's no point in making kimchi. Got some sesame seed. Don't know if I went through that in the mise, but a fairly good dose of sesame seed. If you can find the bamboo smoked stuff, it's even better. I'm going to replace some of that acid that I rinsed off with just a little bit of rice wine vinegar. And some sesame oil. Good dollop, like probably flirting with the tablespoon there. And then I'm going to use the best tools in the kitchen, my hands. If you don't have, or if you want to try something a little different, not so much that you don't have, you can replace the radish with daikon. Makes it really nice too. Oh, it's already smelling awesome. Okay, so there's a nice, good dose. I'm going to season that. I'm going to ramp up the salt contingent into there. It's because I rinsed off so much and I can still smell it kind of winey. So there's half a teaspoon of salt. And this stuff, in a couple days, it'll be the bomb. It is absolutely outstanding. But for now, it is what it is. But there's the basics on a quick kimchi. On a kimchi style sauerkraut, if you want to say. Just in case there's purists out there. That's not kimchi. Okay? So that's there. I'm going to park that guy right there. Let's make a salad dressing. We're going back. I didn't rinse that out because basically a lot of those components are already here. So I'm just going to build it up from there. Oh yeah. Good char. Go in there. Lots of sugar in there. There's some great char on there right now. I'm actually going to turn that off. Okay, salad dressing. Oh, schmucky. A little bit more ginger. I've got a pear from that roasty, from that poached pear. You can use a canned pear, you can use a fresh Chinese pear, you can use whatever. But I'm going to use about half of that pear into the dressing. I'm going to use the butt end of that pear. Park all that stuff in there. I'm going to revisit my green onion again. Alright, we're going to put some more green onion in there. We're going to be fairly heavy on the acid, so when we're doing our dressing, we want everything to balance. I wasn't worried about the balance on the marinade, but I'm going to be worried about this one. So there's a good dose of Chinese cooking wine. We're going to emulsify a dressing here. I still want a bit of game, so I'm going to add some more sambal. Just a bit, doesn't have to be crazy. I'm going to hit my light soy, that's going to be our salt component. Okay, and there's probably a quarter cup in there. Then I'm going to burp it. Then we're going to stream in some olive oil. Just making sure that cap is going to come out. Sometimes they can be a pain in the arse. Okay, so I'm going to go a little on this side. Ramp that up. Make sure everything's nice and smooth. then I'm going to make the emulsion. I'm going to take my olive oil. And I'm going to drizzle that in there. And you hear that slowing down a little bit? It's starting to hog a bit. Because everything's thickening up. And here we have some salad dressing. I'll leave that out for a sec. I'm going to grab a spoon. I'm going to give it a taste. I want to see where it's at. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Absolutely awesome. So let's put that guy into, you know what, I'll drizzle it out of there. Okay, so there's 3 things done. You know where we're at now? Plating time. Just give this a rinse. So there's lots of similar ingredients in this. It's nothing to be panicky about and holy crap, that's a lot of meats, but it's actually not a lot of meats. It's a lot of the same stuff over and over and over again. Okay, so let's get some lettuces going. I'm going to lay down, I'm going to do this all in one shot. Or am I? Yeah, I'm going to do it all in one shot. So I'm going to lay down a bed. My lettuce has already been cleaned. I always keep my plating off of the lip so servers have somewhere to grab. Okay, then I'm going to take, I'm going to need this spot for a sec. I'm going to take the stem off. And then I'm going to kind of just do a couple quick cuts there, almost like you'd be doing a Caesar, okay? And I'm going to park that guy in there. Let's get back in the frame on that. Tuck everything in. Look how nice and fresh that looks, eh? I'm going to grab my bean sprouts. I'm going to park some of those guys down there. Just a great texture thing. Really nice texture on there. And then we're going to dress it. Here's our dressing, okay? It's kind of yellowy, that's from the pear. I'm just going to drizzle some of that on there. I like things fairly dressed. And I'm not going to season any more than that. But I am going to park this. Let's get another protein board up here. Just going to pull that off to the side for a sec. Homage. Flank steak. Grain goes this way. Find where the ends of that grain are. Here they are here. The grain's going this way now. And that's the way we're going to slice, okay? I'm going to take it on the bias, but I'm going to angle my knife blade about 30 degrees. And this is freaking beautiful. There we go. Okay? Then let's get rid of this. We're done with that. Let's put that beef up there. We'll fan it out. Okay? Nice little fan of beef. I'm a big fan of beef. I'm going to move this board before it leaks all over the place and makes me cranky again. Pull that more into frame. Let's grab some of our kimchi. And I put a good knob of that right there. And then let's do a garnish. We got time. Let's make a quick little garnish. Let's revisit our radishes. Let's make a little radish flour. Alright, there's the radish. I'm just going to trim off the tip. And I'm going to take my knife. Oh, I got some shrapnel in my fingers. I'm just going to go down, pick up a third of that, pick up another third of that, another third. We're just going to go around. We're going to make a little tulip. Doesn't look much like a tulip right now, but hang on. Don't make a liar out of me. In some ice water into your fridge, and it'll start to open up, okay? That's only been going for about 20 minutes, so it'll open up a little more as time goes on. I just broke a little. Well, let's do that. That's it. As Bob Ross would say, that's a happy accident. Okay? Bulgogi beef salad. Look how pretty that is. And look at that flank. That flank is the bomb. Perfect medium rare. Nice good crust on it. And you're good to go. Get rid of that. So yeah, there we have it. I've got another contest coming up, because who doesn't like contests? And it's not like they're terribly skill testing. All you got to do is like my school page, like Cobb's Bread, and you're entered. And you got to be in the East Kootenay area. You got to be able to get to Cranbrook to pick up your bread, because it's a loaf a week for a year. So keep that in mind if it's something that you're interested in and live in the area. Friday's show is going to be, I'm going to do, you know what, I'm going to hold off on that because I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do. I'll have it up in the next hour or two. It won't be any crazy ingredients, nothing that you're going to have to spend a lot of time sourcing out. So you'll be fine that way. So trust me on that. Alrighty, we will see you again on Friday if we don't see you before then. Cheers.